Photosynthesis number 3. How exactly does photosynthesis work? Okay, first we're going to do an overview of the 2 reactions. Number 1 is the light-dependent reaction, and number 2 is the Calvin cycle. This is a chain of all the stuff that happens inside of the chloroplast and inside of photosynthesis. So here's our double membrane, and you come in, and here's the thylakoid. What do you think all of these things are? What are these things that are doing things?
The flower.
What does everything? We're inside of a cell. What does everything inside of a cell?
The chloroplast.
Proteins?
Yes.
Proteins. All these little guys are all the little proteins.
We should start over.
Alright. Should we?
No.
Just go over all.
Okay, so we have the light reaction here and the Calvin cycle here. Light is going in and water is going in. It's going to split to make the oxygen. The light reaction is going to make ATP and NADPH to come over to the Calvin cycle. Carbon dioxide comes in, all these things go round and round, and then we make glucose. Okay, that is photosynthesis, number 1 and number 2. Now we're going to go into number 1. So we are inside, here's our chloroplast, here's one little thylakoid, so this is a big thylakoid. That's what this is right here, a thylakoid. Here are our green blobbies. Let's circle those. And those were called photosystems. Right here. They're going to be named photosystem 2 and then 1 because they were discovered backwards.
Whoa.
So our photosystems, and then the purple guy, the blue, is the electron transport chain. And I don't see that on there, do you? So let's label these guys ETC, maybe right there. Alright, so here's an ETC, and then here's an ETC. Okay, so light is going to come in, water splits, drops off its electron. Let's draw an electron right there. And then oxygen is created. The light comes in, excites the electron to a higher energy state, goes ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, woo! Like that. And then it's going to go bloop, bloop, bloop. Bloop, bloop, bloop. As the electron travels down, it gives off a little bit of energy. And the hydrogens are going to go across one by one. So my hydrogen going across. And now I've got all of these hydrogens built up inside of the thylakoid. Okay, then my electron continues, comes over here. We don't need to split another water because it just keeps going. And it goes ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling, woo! And it goes up in energy state by the light that's coming in to give it energy. And then it's going to go bloop, bloop, bloop. This time, instead of sending hydrogens across, we are making NADPH. So NADP, we stick an H on it, and that's what we've got. Last thing, we've got our hydrogens built up in the middle, and they're going to rush across, and they're going to make ATP right here. So my hydrogens rushing across, and then we make ATP. That is the light-dependent reaction, the first one, because it depends on the light. Alright, and then all this stuff we just made, the NADPH and the ATP, is going to go over to the second guy. Alright, so all you need to know about the light-dependent reaction is the location. Where is this happening? Yes, and inside the chloroplast is happening on the thylakoid membrane. It is the reaction that uses the light, good, to make what two things?
ATP.
Good, ATP and
ADPH.
NADPH. ATP is made by the hydrogen gradient. ATP is the energy of the cell. That's where ATP is. What splits to give the electrons?
Water.
Water. And it makes, the water splits to make my oxygen. It does this with two things. What is the green blobby where the light excites electrons to a higher state? Ding-a-ling-ling, boo! Photosystem. And then the thing that passes excited electrons down, bloop, 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 and uses that energy to do work. You got it. ETC, electron transport chain for ETC. Alright, so this is the light reaction. My light is coming in, my water is coming in, and oxygen goes out. Light, water splits, makes my oxygen. ATP and NADPH are made and go over here. It's on the thylakoid membrane. Calvin cycle number 2. So now these two things are going into the Calvin cycle. Also coming in is CO2. So what you need to know is this happening outside of the thylakoid, so it's just in the middle in the fluid, which is the stroma. It is the reaction that uses the three things: ATP, NADPH, and CO2. To make glucose. That's the whole point down here, glucose. C6H12O6, this is just saying that it's a 1 to 2 to 1 ratio. So don't get confused. That's a basic sugar. Glucose is C6H12O6. The source of carbon, where did we get the C for that glucose? Did we get it from an ATP or an NADPH? Or do we get it from water or oxygen? We got it from carbon dioxide. That's the only thing with a C. That's where that source of carbon is. Alright, finish up this quick check. This would be very, very important for you to be able to do for the test. See if you can fill in what is going in, what's going in. What's the name of this guy? What's the name of this guy? What's going over? What's coming out? And then this is this little stuff blown up big. So our ding-a-ling boop, 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 ding-a-ling boop, 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 boop. Draw it, label it, see what you can do. All of these guys on here are the chlorophyll, and the ding-a-ling bloop, 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 bloop. So that's why the more surface area you have, the more you can stick on there, and the more photosynthesis you can do. That's why we need high surface area. And then answer these questions about what we just learned.